Hello everybody, it's Richard Hart here. I just want to let you know that the Pulsechain.com mainnet has launched and PulseX.com on that mainnet has launched as well. I hope you guys are all enjoying it. We waited a couple years for this and it's finally here.
Hey everybody, and yes, Pulsechain is almost coming up to a whole year. Can you believe it? It's crazy time. And of course, we're going to be talking about Pulsechain Breakout soon. That is the theme of today's live stream. Also, one chart tells its secrets. We're going to look at that. And yeah, we're going to make some comments about it. So let's get into it. Who else is in the house? We got Sandy Beach. Is she here? Calling Sandy Beach. Are you in here? We got, yay, there's Sandy Beach. Hey, Hex Token and everybody. Good to see Sandy Beach as well. Now, day 25 of the AB challenge there from Sandy Beach, and you can find the link right there, Sandy Beach. Go follow Sandy, and of course, participate in the health and fitness challenge every month. Something new this month, of course, is AB challenge. So big shout out to Sandy. Who else is in there? We got Lies Beneath in here. How are you today? Very good. A little bit wet outside, but you know, I did do my walk, so that was kind of cool. And we've got Hex, PLX incentive for the win. 100%. Those are the golden cryptos that we're backing on this channel, but we talk about just about everything else as well. We got DJ in the house there. Thune. Yeah, very Thune. Pulsechain Breakout, very Thune. It's going to be cool. We got Brian, our community leader in the house. What's up, folks? Good to see you, Brian. Always a champion in our Discord doing amazing things. And we got Wookie as one of our moderators. Wookie is on the march. Yeah, big shout out to Wookie for Anzac Day yesterday, marching with all the medals from his grandfather, I believe. Yeah, grandfather. We got Solid in the house there. Hey, all. First live, eh? Hey, good to see you, Solid. Welcome to the chat. And, of course, Brennan says, morning, Superman and family. Hey, Brennan, good to see another moderator and our TA guru in the house as well. Good to see you. And, hey, all. First live in a while. Not really. I was off yesterday for Anzac Day. And we've had a few holidays lately, so I've had a few extra days off, but you know, mostly every day. We're doing streaming, so it's kind of cool. Who else has jumped in here? We've got Steve Wright. Hey, Steve. Good to see you as always. Thank you again, Superman. Your info is always important to all of us. Hey, Steve Wright, appreciate that. Big shout out to you, Steve Wright, Santa Barbara. There we go. All right, let's get into it. We're going to start off with the stock market quickly, go through the markets, and we're going to get to, obviously, the Pulsechain one and talk about that. And then we're going to be getting into, we're going to be covering a lot of stuff, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get into it. Richard Hart's posts and everything else. So let's start with the stock market quickly. S&P. So Thursday's market results for stock market. We got the S&P 500 cut some losses, but ends lower on Meta-led tech. Now, I didn't cover yesterday, of course. Wednesday, Monday, and Tuesday were both bullishly green. So we obviously had a bit of a cutback today. We can see that Dow Jones is down 1%, 375 points, 38,085. S&P 500 down just under 0.5%, 23 points to 5,048. NASDAQ down 0.6%, 100 points down to 15,611. So they're still very healthy looking markets there. US dollar is actually up slightly, 105.48 is the index. And yeah, I don't think we've got the commodities. We've got the commodities back. How about that? That just magically returned. We've got West Texas and Brent oil, both up slightly. They're sitting in $84 for West Texas and $89 Brent oil. They're just up slightly, both of those. Gold there is pretty flat at the moment, 2,342. And silver at the moment is up to $27.38. So it's been a nice little move for silver and gold, isn't it? And there we go. That's where it is at the moment. Now, if we get an interest rate pivot and a dollar tanks, then, man, those things are really going to rally. And so we'll be looking for that in the future. Treasury yields climb on dwindling rate cut bets amid sticky inflation, that old sticky inflation. We're going to be talking about sticky inflation when we get to Bitcoin, so just hold on for that. Treasury yields climbed after data showed the U.S. economy grew by just 1.6% in the first quarter on an annualized basis, much slower than expected, while a core underlying measure of inflation surprised to the upside in Q1, rising 3.7%, pushing out rate cut bets. So that interest rate pivot that we're looking for is getting pushed out further towards the end of the year. Swap traders are no longer fully pricing in a first Fed rate cut before December. Can you believe it? That's some of the swap traders. The weakest growth, but stronger inflation rates, fears of stagflation. But some economists know that growth wasn't as weak as the report suggested. the makeup of the data wasn't as soft as inventories and foreign trade had a 1.1% drag on GDP in Q1. We're talking about US, of course, GDP. And domestic demand growth proceeded at a strong pace of a 2.8% annualized. And remember that US is really the global consumer, 2/3 of the economy approximately, consumption that make up GDP. So big, still quite strong there. The demand came ahead of Friday's PCE price data, and we know this is the main number that the Fed's going to be looking for is the PCE inflation as opposed to CPI, which is widely seen as the Federal Reserve's favorite gauge of inflation. So that is coming up there, and of course we're getting closer. If we go to the economic indicators, no, actually we're going to go to tools, and we're going to go to the Fed rate monitor and have a quick look at that before we get into crypto. 5 days, 17 hours to go until the Fed's meeting, 1st of May, 2 p.m. Eastern time. So keep a lookout for that. We're expecting no change in the market. The market expects no change in the rate, so staying at 5.5%. So we're getting pushed right out with this rate pivot. Let's have a look at September, because that's kind of when we thought the earliest would be. We've still got the majority of market expecting a rate cut as compared to the swap traders, but it's only just under 60% of the market expecting a pivot by September. So really, we've been pushed back from May, June, July. September's even looking a little bit shaky, and of course that would get us to November's Fed meeting, where we've got 67%. So 2/3 of the market by November. Man. And of course, we were talking about 3 rate cuts by the end of the year. Now 2 rate cuts, and maybe only 1 rate cut if the swap traders are right. Let's get to December. We're up over 80% by December. Ouchie, man. That's like almost 6 months delay in terms of getting interest rate cuts. So that's quite a bit hefty. Those higher rates for longer typically have a worse impact on the economy at some stage. So yeah, let's see how we go with that one. So let's see, September still at the earliest 60%, but weak, getting weak there. So anyway, that's something we'll look forward to in the future. Let's see how we get on with that PCE data coming out soon, tomorrow, I believe. Yeah. That brings us into Bitcoin. Bitcoin looking pretty good, actually, $64,553. And of course, 52.33% is the Bitcoin dominance at the moment. Ethereum at 3,158 is up 0.5% at the moment. That's going to be interesting how that impacts the Magic Carpet Ride with the sacrifice funds. So we'll be looking out for that. That's a key indicator, obviously, where we bought into with the Magic Carpet Ride funds. And so we'll probably do an update on that maybe next week. So stay tuned for that. That's at 0.5% at the moment. What else is looking pretty interesting? Well, the meme coins still seems to be the meta theme for this market, Bitcoin and meme coins. It's up 7.5%. Old Peppy there at 508, so it's kind of the leader there at the moment. Other than that, pretty mixed across the board. Let's go to look at Bitcoin in a bit closer. So we are just below the 50-day moving average on the yellow line. You can see that yellow line, 50-day moving average. We've been tracing around that since the Bitcoin halving. Look at that. And we're a few days away from that now. How many days? We're on 6 days from it. So 5 days completed, and we're now on the 6th day since the Bitcoin halving. Block 840,000, and boy, it was a bit of fun. Man, the fees for the couple of days around that, just after that Bitcoin halving, absolutely insane over on Bitcoin. So yeah, well over 1,000 sats per VB. It was pretty crazy for some time. Of course, Runes protocol launched, and of course that drove up probably something like 60-70% of the fees driven by that Runes protocol. So even though the miner reward cut down to 3.15, about 450 a day, the fees were so high there, but of course that benefits the rewards there as well. So kind of cool. Let's move on here. That is where we are at the moment on Bitcoin. Now we do have some cool stuff here. Persistent inflation, so we talked about it with the economic data, will be key in Bitcoin's run to 200,000. This is from a crypto fund manager, so this is his opinion. Unsustainable budget deficits. Obviously, U.S. budget deficit is insane. Was it up 34 trillion? I think is the total debt in the U.S. now. Just insanity. And of course, they keep spending money, particularly the Democrats love to spend money. And of course, they're spending the future generations' money, right? So the generations that are coming, they are getting a con job, right? They're the ones that they indoctrinate them and make them vote for it, they support it. So, hey, it's kind of the ironic stuff, right? That's why I hate propaganda. Unsustainable budget deficits and persistent inflation have hash key capital analysts predicting 100,000 to 200,000 Bitcoin price by the end of 2024. That's this year. So that's pretty exciting. And that means, we got how many months? 8 months to go. So pretty bullish. Now, you guys know probably a lot of the analysts have been picking 150 to 180,000. That's kind of where a lot of people sit. And then we know Richard Hart's up at 240. And of course, if we're going to get to gold, we're looking at 400K plus, right? Just to get to the gold market cap. And what else would we say about that? And of course, some of the ETF CEOs think, $1 million plus. Maybe not in this particular cycle, but definitely in the future there. So that is kind of the play, 4 years to the next halving. And let's have a look at some of this article here. Bitcoin price has surged throughout 2024, fueled by the launch of several spot ETFs and the asset fundamental role as a store of value. Of course, we've heard BlackRock talking about that, right? A shift to a store of value. The interest in Bitcoin is expected to persist, particularly as the United States government's continue high spending and interest rate policy discussions prevail. And of course, we expect persistent inflation and unsustainable budget deficits to contribute to continued demand for store of value assets like Bitcoin. Absolutely. Predicting the future value of Bitcoin remains challenging due to the multiple underlying variables in play. And of course, Liquid sees this analyst sees significant potential for future growth, suggesting that Bitcoin could possibly hit 200,000 by the end of the year. Wouldn't that be lit? That'd be so good. A low prediction will be 100,000. Medium one is 140,000. A high prediction is 200,000 by the end of 2024. So interesting. And the positive impact of ETFs on the cryptocurrency market has made crypto investments more accessible and appealing to a broader audience. Over long-term, Bitcoin's price behavior will start to mirror that of traditional assets such as equity and gold. And this could potentially lead to more stable growth and integration into mainstream investment portfolios. So you're still pretty early, aren't you? Pretty much. And but this particular halving with the ETFs this year, this is particularly pivotal for Bitcoin opening up capital from the biggest markets in the world into Bitcoin. So it is a big deal, and everyone's still pretty early, right? We also see a lot of technology innovation in the crypto space, which the traditional TradeFi cannot keep up with, cannot do. So it's pretty amazing from that point. It really democratizes a finance, and that's why we like DeFinance, DeFi and Pulsechain, which is really leading the way on that. We've got so many innovative DeFi people making projects here. Bullish case for BTC. Venture capitalist Tim Draper has predicted the BTC will triple in value in 2024 due to the inflows into ETFs and the impact of the Bitcoin halving. Draper expressed optimism about Bitcoin's trajectory in an interview with Cointelegraph, reflecting in his earlier predictions suggests a possible rise to 250,000 by year's end. That's by this year's end, so it's even more bullish than the last prediction. And of course, we know Richard's up around 240, given the positive signs he observes in the market. So we're talking about this year, not even 2025. So some pretty bullish calls here. Introduction of ETFs in the United States has significantly revived interest in capital investment in Bitcoin, and still early days. There's so much capital to still flow in. It just has a small percentage of their portfolio. So we're very early folks in this. So some pretty bullish stuff there. Now, on top of Bitcoin itself being bullish, we know that the Runes protocol launched at the Bitcoin halving at block 840,000 and has been, for the most part, an extremely successful. And of course, that will really be tested once Runes has a $1 billion project, and that will really sort of sign the stamp of approval onto Runes. So excited about that. Obviously, last year it was all about BRC20s and OCR 20s, and of course ordinals, and basically your tokens and NFTs on Bitcoin with older tech, generally speaking. And now we've got more efficient a protocol there of Runes. We've got centralized exchanges that have been coming out the last 24 hours, supporting some of the key runes like Dog token, which is Dog to the goes to the moon. So that's going to be pretty big there, led by Leonidas, a huge person in the ordinals ecosystem. And so it's exciting times. Lots of stuff happening here. Here we are on Magic Eden, one of the main markets. Obviously, there's others like Unisat and a few others there, but Magic Eden really doing a great job here. You can see the UI is pretty neat as well, making runes, ordinals, stuff very accessible to people. And of course, here we are at the moment. We've got the leaderboard on pre-runes, so basically the ordinals. We've got Prometheans up there. Runestone, of course, which has been dominating, is there as well. And of course, getting a lot of airdrops. If you've got Runestone, getting a lot of airdrops there. You're getting Dog token. You're getting Lobo Wolf token. I mean, they're really going to compete with the Ethereum meme coins, right? So that's where this is all breaking out. This is all brand new, all really exciting early stuff. So you're early here on all this stuff. This is on Bitcoin, of course, the most valuable chain in the world. So now it's going to be competing with Ethereum as the most valuable. So you see it's still very early because only just launched. So it really is at the genesis. But already we're seeing multiple centralized exchanges listing the dog token and other tokens. So it's going to be pretty exciting to see that Lobo launch. I think we've got Mania is launched as well today. So it really is starting to ramp up there, especially those top 9 runes, really important there. So this is pre-runes. They're ticking away there. You can see lots of exciting things happening there. Market caps and Bitcoin, pretty huge. So very exciting to see that. Let's have a quick look at Runestone here. We can see that Runestone's at the moment 55 buys in play just here on Magic Eden, and the current price $1,700. Of course, this is post some of the snapshots. If you're holding Runestone, you get snapshots and some other tokens like dog token, which is flying through the roof right now, as well as like I said, Lobo and others. Now we'll jump from here from the Runestones. We're gonna have a look at the actual runes. So if we jump onto the runes tab, we can actually select a rune. And we can see the markets for runes here on Magic Eden, which is probably dominating the decentralized space for ordinals and runes. So you can see that Dog Go to the Moon is number 1 there at the moment, 107 Bitcoin of volume, $7 million so far on that one. So let's click on that one. You can also see some others there. Rysek's doing very well. Satoshi Nakamoto is doing very well. This is the first one that came out. Now these are high-ranking runes in the top 9. So we've got Dog is number 3. Rysek's number 8 and Satoshi's number 6 is when they were actually minted out at the beginning. As soon as that, Runes protocol launched on block 840,000, everyone was trying to etch themselves. That's the lingo, etch themselves one of these tokens. And of course, we've got Fihu there. Rune number 1 is Fihu, and that's in there at the moment, $34 for one of those. Lobo the Wolf, of course, just dropped. That also dropped to Runestone holders. So Runestone holders really getting some really good value there. Dog token, a Lobo token there, and that is rune number 9. Sitting at $4.55. So some really cool stuff happening there. You really do have to get your head around the project teams, what's hot and what's not. Just take that into account. Meme Economics number 7 rune is in there as well. So there's definitely buying and selling. It's still early days. And of course, Dog there just had several centralized exchanges, including Gate.io, OKX Wallet, and a couple of other exchanges coming on, and there's many more exchanges interacting with the founder Leonidas. So we may even see Binance come out here soon. That some of them have to integrate Runes protocol, so it's not as easy as just adding a ticker. They actually have to integrate the Runes protocol into the centralized exchange. But this is all green territory. This is all brand new. This is going to be mega meme coins on Bitcoin. So it's really the first bull market cycle for that. Big deal here. So some exciting stuff here. You can see someone here's got this is the 890,000 here, sitting at 6.77 sats. This was up at 7.5 sats earlier, and currently that's worth 3,900, which is pretty much around what people got if they were holding one runestone in their free drop. So pretty cool. Market cap at the moment, 436 million. Now, as I said earlier, to really get that stamp of approval onto runes, need to get one of these coins get to $1 billion market cap that will really send some waves through the ecosystem. And so far, Dog Go to the Moon is looking good for that. There's also talk about actually landing a Bitcoin dog here on the actual moon. So getting a SpaceX flight, something like that, and actually landing a dog on the moon. So this could be mega huge in the future, especially in a bull market, Bitcoin bull market. So some fun things happening here as well. So keep tabs of that with Leonidas on the old on runes and of course Dog. So some fun stuff here. There's whole new territory for many of you may not even be familiar with all this. That's kind of an overview at the moment. So magiceden.io is a good place to start. But like I say, it is on exchanges. Here we can see Gate.io. We can see Dog here currently trading 0043, and it is doing pretty well. Nice big rally. Got up here at 0056 and is tinkering away. But you watch this thing's probably going to zigzag up and to the right. Keep a lookout for that. It's just early days, the last 24 hours. It's going to be fun. All right, that is pretty much Bitcoin and runes. So some bullish prices ahead potentially for Bitcoin. And of course, bullish with the ecosystem on top of Bitcoin being runes are really blowing up there, and super early days, good value to the upside, as we say. Now, Ethereum at the moment is ticking back up as well, 3,150, below the 50-day moving average, which is currently sitting at 3,263. And of course, we have got the Bitcoin ETFs coming up. But like I say, we're still only expecting up to a 25% probability of that happening. So not holding my breath for that, given that we haven't really had the information that we would have liked to see. But I'm going to probably do a review on that on Monday as well. We'll have a look at with the Bloomberg analyst there. I know that Richard Hart's kind of a bit bullish on that, but yeah, the probability from the Bloomberg analyst is not so hot on that one. So, and neither am I at this stage. All right, let's jump over to Richard Hart himself. He's been very busy over the last 24 hours. It has been a lot of fun. Let's see what Richard's been talking about. Before we do that, though, let's get back in the chat and say a little hello to a few extra people that have jumped in. Let's see, we've got Check My Pulse in here. What's up, y'all? Good to see Check My Pulse. Pineapple is in the house there as well. Superman Mornings, good to shout out to you. And what's up? Texkins, Tin Top is here. Never fear. Hey, Tin Top. What's up? What's up? Good to see Tin Top here. We got Andrew Reynolds as well. Happy Friday, all. Absolutely happy Friday to you. If you're down under, it's Friday. So yeah, down under. Good old New Zealand, Australia. Great. All right, let's get into it. Let's get back into Pulsechain. We're going to kick off with Richard Hart. He's been doing some absolutely amazing stuff here. Putting a lot of his opinions out, a lot of his research and things like that out for free. So it's kind of cool. So I'm not going to go through all these posts. There's quite a few there, but you check them out. We're just going to go through one or two of these that I want to get into. So let's get into some of this. We're going to jump through. We've got some very important posts out there. We're just going to jump to some of the ones that are around Pulsechain. So this one here, 6 hours ago, Bitcoin time for good news, all-time high price 42 days ago. Ethereum didn't all-time high yet and is next most likely to get an ETF or an ETP is the other name. Less cryptocurrency dollar hacked, likely better security. Yeah, so probably that is about 25%, but we're going to review that on Monday, see if there's any new data that's coming out to suggest that it might be higher than that. Maybe it's a matter of when as opposed to if, but at this stage, not looking so hot. Pulsechain.com has 10,000x lower fees than Bitcoin and more features. Nice. So a nice little plug there for Pulsechain. We like to see that. So there we go. Look at that, 9,600 times driven in Bitcoin at the time. So Richard Hart doing some cool stuff out there with talking about Pulsechain. Let's jump over into some of the other posts here around Bitcoin. We're going to jump through some of that. Let's get it up. There's another one here. I want to talk about this one. 5 hours ago, imagine Ethereum, but more decentralized with more free coins, higher throughput, lower base inflation, lower fees, faster blocks, and inheriting its upgrades. And of course, upgrades, we like that. A real layer 1 with non-layer 2 centralized sequence risks and a coin that did 5,000x already. And of course, check out Pulsechain there. So that's pretty cool from Richard. And he's got the link to that. So Richard getting out there, spreading the word. What's he had? About 30,000 views on that one so far in 5 hours. Pretty epic. Then 5 hours ago, another plug. Imagine a coin that only became more rare as they can only be burned and never minted. Pulsex, of course, 824 billion burnt already. That's 24 million a day at today's value. Isn't that awesome? That's how much been burned of Pulsex, which I think is so cool. Less than a year old, not financial advice, but past performance is no guarantee of future. And a nice little plug there for Pulsex there as well. No support lines in there, but definitely got the plug there of the returns at what's it, 11x there. So pretty awesome from the bottom. What else did we have from Richard? That's related to that. We're going to jump through some of that. Yeah, that's it. So he's got stuff about legal things in there. You go check it out. He's got quite a few other posts, but those are the ones I want to read out regarding Pulsechain. That gets us into the results for day 349 as we get closer and closer to 1 year on Pulsechain. Let's have a look at the countdown here. 16 days, 23 hours, and 33 minutes to go. Woohoo! Getting there, folks. And it's going to be pretty amazing. So we're almost getting down to 50 weeks and, getting rid of weekends in 50 weeks. So what have we got? About 3 days to go to 50 weeks. And then finally a 1 year birthday after that. So somewhere in between there, maybe Magic Outright. Pretty exciting there. In fact, I'm looking down here. Look at all these other things that they've added in here. It's kind of cool. I haven't actually looked at that. That's on gopulse.com. So day 349, let's have a look at the results. Pulse at the moment, quadruple 0711, down 2%. Pulsex at the moment, quadruple 0295, down 1.2%. The buy and burn, as Richard rightly pointed out, is 824.4 billion Pulsex. That is now 4.06% of public supply. So really just secretly in the background eating away at the public supply Pulsex. So very bullish about Pulsex, and the price couldn't be better. Look at that price, quadruple 0295 to accumulate. It is so good. Incentive token at the moment, $3.54, down 3%. And of course, the amount of emissions there, we've hit 30 million. Woo! I don't think we did it yesterday. I don't know. I wasn't watching, but we did it today. 30 million there. That's pretty crazy. 30 million and 44,000 incentive tokens in existence. So relatively scarce. And of course, we're coming up to the full year there. PHEX at the moment is at 85/100th of a penny. EHEX at the moment, 18/100th of a penny. Combined price of EHEX and PHEX at 1.03 cents. Like I say, we're at the bottom of the range there, accumulation zone for Hex at the moment. It is actually up 2.66% compared to the other ones here. So pretty good stuff happening there. That's day 349. We're going to be starting day 350. Can you believe it? That reminds me of something else that we had on 350. What was it that we had on 350? Does anyone know? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. You guys know what I'm talking about. All right, so let's jump over to the charts here. And, of course, this is the one. Pulsechain breakout soon. One chart tells its secrets. Well, I think this is the chart. So let's have a quick look at this one. This is the Pulsechain chart. Of course, we're on the daily. But do you guys see? This is Richard Hart's little support line here that he often posts in his charts. And, of course, look at it. Look where we are right now at the moment. So we keep bouncing off here. And look at this angle we're bouncing off there at the moment. And, of course, we're coming up to that 1 year, right? 1 year. 3 days away from 50 weeks. And 1 year coming up in 17 days. Look at that. Woohoo! What is going to happen here, folks? What is going to happen? Obviously, this is a pretty critical support line here. Richard posted it in his chart. He's got that written in his chart. And, of course, is it going to be game on? This breakout very, very soon coming up in here. So is this sort of the last zone here to accumulate some nice, cheap Pulsechain? It's going to be fun out. So we're going to play probability on that and say, yes, 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 sir. Yes, sir. That's where we're going to stay in there. And so, yeah, let's see how we go. We have a lot of support as well in here as well. There used to be resistance. See all the resistance lines? That is now horizontal support. And we have angular support here as well. So we've got horizontal and angular support here in this chart. So looking pretty good. I should probably add on the 13 and the 34 to have checked it out too. Maybe we'll leave that for Monday or maybe even tomorrow on Saturday. How about that? We'll add in the moving averages as well. So that is pretty cool. And yeah, bullish in here. Got to be bullish. And of course, the other thing we're going to look at is not only this support, horizontal and angular support lines, which really tells some secrets about where this chart is heading, but also where Ethereum price is going as well. So we get a bit more rebound on the Ethereum price there with the sacrifice set. And of course, the magic carpet ride could be game on. So let's take that note. Take that note there, folks. Could be pretty cool. So that is the bullish scenario for the breakout. Now, obviously, we can always have one more capitulation event just a week out to get rid of those weekends before we take off. So that's also possible. We have seen those events take place in the past, but I'm feeling pretty positive about where we are at the moment, and especially where the markets are. So could be game on here at the moment. All right, let us go. We're going to jump over to Pulsex. Pulsex pretty similar, even more bullish with this angular line here. But as you can see, we have broken down a little bit here, but still in a nice zone, just around 3,000. So that's kind of a natural support line there. We're 3,200 to 3,300 was pretty strong, but we're just sitting around 3,000 at the moment. So probably want to hold that at this stage. And let's have a look at the incentive token. Let's have a look at the ratio at the moment. We're still holding 49,736. So yeah, we've managed to bounce off 45,000 and holding up pretty nicely here. It'd be nice to get back over 50. And boy, once this retrace finishes on incentive token, it's going to be crazy up to the right. It's going to be crazy stuff there. Not financial advice, right? You guys have to make your own judgments, but I'm just saying my opinion on where I think the probability is. But this is looking pretty hot to the upside. So let's see how we go there with the incentive tokens. 30,000. What did I say? How many did I say? 30 million. Sorry, 30 million of them now in existence. Let's all look at Hex at the moment. Hex at the moment, really still in accumulation zone. So that orange line, remember, that's accumulation, like strong accumulation zone. And you can see it's bounced out of there many times. So you got pretty good probability to make some, at least maybe a 200% or something. But once it breaks 3 cents combined, it's going to be off to the races for the old Hex there. as well. Now, I did see a video online on YouTube. Some video had like 30,000 views talking about how Hex was wrecked and all that sort of stuff. Well, this is what they always say, right? This is what they always say to all the critics. But you can't keep Hex down. It's going to have that breakout eventually. It is tied in with the liquidity to Pulsechain. It is one of Richard Hart's projects, and of course, it's got tons of investors in it. And yeah, I think game on, right? Game 100, what's 180,000 stakeholders in it, so it's not going anywhere. And of course, once the waterline starts moving up on Pulsechain, it's going to be game on for all Richard Hart's tickers, right? The golden cryptos, as we say, of DeFi. How about that? So I'm pretty bullish. EX at the moment, likewise, a lot of upside. I know this is not the favored one here from Richard, but still, it is a mutable code. It's got a lot of potential upside all the way up. Definitely the 0.7 of a penny. So there's some pretty nice little gains sitting in here as well. It's got some good influencer support, like people like Goldkey and Dipcatcher and others, and of course myself on this channel. Very bullish. Obviously, Magic Carp Ride is on the Pulsechain side, but this has got so much upside and will get dragged up. You know how things go with crypto. And of course, before it hits the Bankex wall, 280% sitting in there as well. All right, that gets us up to the combined price EHEX and PX, just over 1 penny at the moment. Like I say, once we get back up here over the top and break out over 3 cents, it's game on. Runaway Hex. Catch me if you can, Hex. I sold my Hex. Damn it, I'm going to cry and make a video. This is kind of where it gets up to when we get up that 3 cent Hex. So keep a lookout for that. It's going to be pretty cool. All right, so that is the markets on Richard Hart. Let's go to the gas stuff here. We've got 400,000 beats. That's about 2x normal. We're sitting at 1 cent for a Pulsechain swap, 600th of a penny for a Pulsechain transfer, and 2/10 of a penny for a PRC trend transfer. Gwei on Ethereum at the moment has been absolutely unbelievably low, like 5-6 Gwei. That's unbelievable. And of course, we're at 660 times cheaper than Ethereum, even with 6 Gwei. Even with 6 Gwei, we're still 660 times cheaper. It's a madness. And then, of course, we're 8,800 times cheaper than Bitcoin, up to around $5.30 to send Bitcoin at the moment. So 1 cent for a Pulsechain swap, or $6.33 on a Uniswap swap there. That is the play. Let's get into it. We've got a couple other things. Validators, of course, have been super popular on Pulsechain, and a full decentralized chain. We saw that Jack Levin from X1 Chain mention in a recent future video that he saw the decentralization of Pulsechain as a real strength of the chain. So we've got 49,263 validators and 1.58 trillion pulses locked away with those validators there, looking pretty good. Let's look at the health of the chain, 113.7 million. So obviously we've come off a little bit there. We're up at 118 to 116. We've come down a bit to 113.7. I did notice a 1.2 million went out overnight when I last looked at the pulse alerts. So we're just a bit weaker at the moment, but we're just trying to find that final zone before we really start taking off there and the breakout comes. So getting optimistic about that in the weeks ahead. So very exciting now. That's pretty much it on the Pulsechain. We're going to be starting day 350. Can you believe it? Heading towards 1 year, almost the final 2 weeks, the weekends to get them out. It's going to be interesting to see how everything goes over the next 2.5 weeks before that 1 year party. All right, we're going to get derivatives as well. Let's have a look at this. Some good news around the derivatives. We can see at the moment that on Ethereum, Hedron and Acosa are up pretty awesome. Hedron up 98%, almost 100% in 24 hours. Acosa up 40%, so congratulations to you over there. Now, obviously, if you've got Hex miners, you're earning Hedron 1-to-1, and if you're at the beginning, you're still earning 10-to-1 or something like that, depending on what your bonus was, or 11-to-1, isn't it? Including the base, so still looking pretty good there. Acosa on Pulsechain is up 5% and 4% on Hedron. Obviously, not doing as well as Ethereum at the moment. And we are still waiting, I think, for Alex McFerter to do version 2.0 with all that cross-chain staking and everything else. So we'll wait to hear from him some stage. That's quite behind now, 6 months, I suggest, from what we're expecting. But, of course, maybe he's recalibrating some of the EHEX side of things there. Let's have a look at the stables. Stables obviously been very popular. We can see that PDI at the moment, 0.7 of a penny. So obviously everyone's pretty strong on the $1 theme here. The chart is looking bullish. You can't say much else about that. That looks good. 0.7 of a penny is about to run away. Some people are saying maybe you should have a little bit of PDI in your wallet for the speculation. There's an easy 100 plus returns there. Will it hold $1? No one really cares, but can it get to $1? People care if it can get to $1. I don't know when it's going to do it. but 1 cent is the target at the moment. So let's just be more modest and say 1 cent. And then if we get to 1 cent, 10 cents is in view, and we know that it can happen faster, right? That can happen faster. So we'll be looking out for that. Some pretty mad gains though in the play, but hey, look, it's still tracking up to 1 cent. So let's talk about 1 cent at the moment, and maybe $1 down further down the road there. 7/10 of a penny. It looks like some easy money there at the moment for PDI, and of course that's also going to drag up USDC and USD Tether. Both of those all three of them are copies, of course, on the Pulse chain. And yeah, fun times. Shared narrative and all that. We've got the Tropo sitting in the background. We've got the Maker Theory out there as well. So fun times ahead there. Now, Coast is still down 77 cents, so well below peg at the moment. PXDC and USDL, not too bad, just slightly under peg at the moment for those. And of course, Coast, we're waiting for them to come back online with new financial providers. I'm sure that will head it back to pegerization. Some free money in there, maybe. You just got to take on that risk, right? So there we go. Let's jump over to the influencer coins, which have kind of been driving a lot of value on Pulse Chain the last couple of weeks. And of course, let's get into that. So we've got SolidX at the moment, $102. And then we've got Paul Pleb from Hexy Bastard is, what's that, up 16%, is at 4,600. Access Alive is at 33,200, up 12.5%. No Token from Randy Alaski, up 11.5%, sitting at 6/10 of a penny, doing very well. I really think it's doing pretty well there. Fire there from Crispy Man is up 10% at 14.40. And of course, My Life is Awesome is up 2% there at 4.3 cents. More Token there from Trayvon is up 1.8% at 36 cents. And BNV1 is down 13%. Now, BNV1, we talked about this 2 days ago. He is looking to launch some big meme coin on Pulse Chain, so keep a lookout for that. Maybe give him a follow, because if you want to get some mad speculative gains on DGN account, that's probably one to look out for, right? Huge influence, obviously. Technically was the biggest influencer in crypto. So let's see where that goes. It's going to be pretty funny. It's going to get a lot of support from the looks of it from 9-inch Exchange and Hexy Bastard. So it could be pretty viral, and I will be looking out for that. All right, so that's kind of cool. We're going to jump away to, let me see here. Let's go to Zen, have a quick look at Zen. Obviously, X1 is getting closer, folks. Don't shade that. We've got 48% increase in PDXN. And of course, NXD is about to launch on the 28th. So that's huge for not only a DXN on Ethereum, which is up 3%, but of course, PDXN up 48%. That's because NXD, the next project, is about to launch on the 28th, this Sunday, I think it is. And of course, then we've got Q project launching in May. So it's two heavyweights there for the DXN ecosystem. Of course, that is a second layer for the Zen ecosystem. And that is a very bullish one, right? Really mega bullish there happening there. What else there? Let's jump over to the what else we've got on here. We're gonna have a look at Bitcoin, wrap Bitcoin there. Let's have a look at that. So top PRC 20, $273, holding it pretty nicely. Slightly down from 2 days ago, but only what's that, $9 lower than I think it was on 2 days ago. So still holding up pretty well as the old wrap Bitcoin, $273. And that is looking pretty good. So let's jump over to the Pulse Chain list here. So how many ranks did we have? We're down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Number 13 at the moment on Deck Screener. We've got $30 million in overall volume for Pulse Chain, 280,000 transactions. Let's have a look at the best performance today. Now, remember, none of this is financial advice because we're just looking at what's hot. We had this Pulse Chain ticker launches up 323%. This is not PLS. This is not the Richard one. This is some other one that someone's made called Pulse Chain, but it's tracking pretty nicely there on the 15-minute. Let's go to the data here. That is it. That's the chart there. And how's it doing? It's doing fairly well. 0.3 of a penny, 32 of a penny there, so not looking too bad. Remember, not financial advice there. These are all speculative, and make sure that the contract's safe, all that sort of stuff. Now, okay, get out of here. Back up the truck. But BBC token, man, 35 cents. Get out of here. Get out. This thing here, man, it's come from the ashes. Was it down to 2-3 cents? Now back at 34 cents. So some pretty mad gains of the old BBC token. I'm not talking about the was it the propaganda network in the UK? I'm talking about the BBC token, the incentive token on 9-inch. It is at 35 cents, up another 60%. Get out. Get out. That's all I can say. Let's have a look at that chart. That is insano. And look at that thing. A huge volume candle coming in there. Wow. Okay, so big volume candle coming in there. Very small liquidity on this, remember, but a $24,000 volume candle today. That is actually shuttered that to the right. That's some crazy stuff right there. That's just on this particular pull. There's many of these pulls, but that is insane. Let's go to the daily on this one. That's the 4-hourly chart. That is the daily chart here at the moment. So you can see we're all the way down. Like I say, down at 2-3 cents here. Yeah. And look at that up and to the right there. That's some pretty mad gains. We can all agree. So what's that at the moment? 1,200%. So 13x there, but it actually got a bit higher. Got up to 1,300%. So 14x in how many days? 20 days, 3 weeks to get a 14x. So who says there's no 10x's on Pulsechain? You can get one. There's one there for 3 weeks. That's a 10x, 13x actually. So if you call the bottom, and pretty bullish there. I know quite a few people are mining, doing the farms and stuff like that on the old 9-inch. That's quite the rebound. Now, Alien at the moment is up 43%. That's associated to PTGC DAO project, so that's doing pretty well. BFF, I'm not sure if I know that one. That is up 33% at the moment. What there? Fugazi there is up by 26%. What else is doing? Okay, 9-inch obviously following up with the BBC is at 402,000. That's up 23% at the moment, so that's doing a lot better. Let's have a look at the bigger pulls there. Let's have a look at this one, the 9-inch one here, and it's back at 2,000. So obviously this is one of the biggest dexes on the Pulsechain, and this is the daily. So a nice little rebound there for 9-inch, and with that off the bottom. Now I still don't think that's back at sacrifice price. It's up 228%, but I can't remember for the life of me. I cannot remember what the sacrifice price was. It's getting closer to it. But was it at 2,600? It's at 2,000 now. Was it at 2,600? Let me know in the chat if you remember. I just can't remember now. But I have a feeling it was somewhere up here. So if I'm right about that, and that's question mark, then that's another 26%. If I'm right about that, let me know in the chat if you guys remember. So that is pretty cool. And how far is that up since it came off the bottom? Well, it's up 230% there, so 3.3x in 3 weeks, just like a BBC token. So 9-inch really is the star utility there. We've had a lot of meme coins and DAO meme coins and tax tokens do pretty well. But it's nice to see some of the utilities coming back. And you can see 9-inch there is ranked just by Pulsex in volume. So that's kind of cool seeing it back up there. So had a bit of a hard start, if you guys remember, a bit of a tragic start in many ways, but has, making up for it now, making up for that now. Doing a lot of social media there, so a big shout out to the team there, and of course, Hexy Bastard there, getting things back on track, which people love to see. Solid X at the moment, we talked about that already. Crow is up 18%. Die Hard there, so these tokens that you earn with the taxes, and you earn, so like PDI, that's a good way of doing it, right? So PDI there, it's up 16% on Die Hard, and you earn, it's got 10% taxes, right? So you come down to here, you can see the sell tax 10%, buy tax 10%, and of course that buys PDI and then redistributes it. So if you're bullish about PDI to $1, so that's maybe one way of doing that. Alternatively, you just buy DI, right? And then just let that go. So you decide. So that's pretty cool. Icarus is doing pretty well, up 16% as well. P-Drip is back up, of course, 15%, $5.74, making a bit of a comeback there. And of course, we talked about Access. What else there? Peer token there, Rick Poss Peer of Selim, whatever that is. So that's up 12%. You guys can check that out for yourself. But those are lots. So we've got lots of stuff over 10% today. And I like to go through the 10% plus chart. You can see there's quite a decent list today. Volumes are still modest, 30 million, pretty modest, pretty not on the low side. We were down at 10 million or something for a little while, I think, from memory. So we're back up to 30 million. It's not too bad. We were, when the memes first launched, all those Access Alive memes and that, I think we got up to, $80 million or something like that. So we've got a bit of work to do. But I think things are starting to wind up and get ready for that big move. The other thing is 279,000 transactions for the day. Not too bad. And I think we've got about 14,000 active users a day at the moment. So a bit of work to do there. So spread the word. Lots of opportunities on Pulsechain. We have lots of cool DeFi coming down the line, of course, from Tetra and Jacob Seeker System, many other projects. Magic Carp Ride, all that sort of stuff. So there's lots of still more projects to launch on Pulsechain. So we look forward to that. And of course, Pulse launch is out there too. So looking forward to that. All right, so that is the markets on Pulsechain. Really, are we a couple of weeks away from a real nice breakout? It's going to be fun to see. The other thing, we have the Pulse conference coming up as well for the year one. So that's going to be a lot of fun there. Maddie Allen is running that show for that. So that's going to be cool. Let's get to the Hex price, though, for the Hex results. We're on day 1606. Is that right? Yeah, I think we are. Yeah, that's the results. 25th of April there. And the price is up by 99%, it says here. So that's not a bad snapshot. What else we got there? The payout, 7.195. Yesterday I wasn't streaming, but we get 7.3. So you've got to be loving these payouts on the old Ethereum chain there for Hex. Let's jump over to the payouts, the T-shares, sorry. We're down 5,800, then up 650 T-shares. So we're sitting at just under 9.25 million T-shares on Ethereum. And let's have a look at the penalties last couple of days. Yeah, some real nice penalties, 5.2 million, 2.2 million. And pretty nice rewards there, 66.4 million reward pool today. Looking at the growth numbers, up 13 on the liquid holders, so plenty of liquid holders trading. Miners continuing the downtrend, 15, but we've got 118,125 current miners at the moment, so that is ticking away. Looking at the Pulsechain, we haven't got today's results out, but we have yesterday's results, 24th of May there, and of course that would have been, what day? 300 and what's the date? 348. And of course, we got the payout there, 7.26. So a really great day on Pulsechain for yesterday. Not today's result, of course, but pretty cool. And it looks like Ethereum, doesn't it? T-shares up 9,500, sitting at 9.5 million T-shares. So just what's about 280,000 more T-shares on the old Pulsechain side than there is on Ethereum. What else we got there? Penalties, 7.6 million yesterday. Pretty nice there. 69 million in the reward pool. And the liquid holders going up and to the right there. But what we're not seeing is the Pulsechain should have our growing. We should be growing in miners. That has not been growing. So more work needs to be done around that. Not sure what the influencers are doing in terms of Hex adoption, but definitely spreading the word there about that in terms of mining. And we've got current miners 124,000 there at the moment. So what's about 6,000 more than there is on Ethereum at the moment on Pulsechain. But look at the numbers. Numbers don't lie, and unless they're wrong. Dirty data. We call it dirty data. Dirty data, doesn't it? But anyway, we got six. We got up down 6 there, 124,000. So yeah, let's have a look back. Should we go back a little bit further and see when we actually had some growth trends on there? Yeah, this is 40 days, 50 days. 60 days, 70 days. Yeah, so 60 days at least we have not been growing in the Hex miners there, 60 days. And of course, that's probably pretty close related to some of Richard's posts about eHex, but is probably the case there. So yeah, 80 days, 90 days. Yeah, we had a bit of a mixed thing 80, 90 days ago. 100 days, yeah, so we were growing 100 days on the old Pulsechain miners. So yeah, it's probably just the last 80 days or so that we've that trend has changed. And the trend is your friend until we reverse it, right? Until we reverse it. So get out there, spread the word. That's how we rock and roll there. That is the Hex. Wow, what a day. You got to feel a bit bullish, don't you? Got to feel a bit bullish. What else? Let's jump through some of this other stuff here. We've got some more people in the house. We go up to Andrew. I know that much. Moonshot here. What's up, good people? Hey, good to see you, Moonshot. I like your thumbnail there, your little profile pic. That looks pretty cool. We got Tom Kane in the house there. Hello. Good to see you, Tom. Welcome to the chat as well. Nice to see you. Tintop says probably a sneaky stealth ETH ETF launch next month, says Tintop. Yeah, well, we are going to see it. We do see them in other countries like in Japan and Europe and places, I think. But it's really the big one is the US. I mean, that ETFs in the US are really what drive a lot of markets. That's kind of where we want to get a lot of that stuff through from that. But definitely. Okay, so Charity Dunning says, hello, everybody. Good to see you, Charity. Looking good. We got, what is that, Wookie? Some little pictures of something. I don't even know what those are. Little monsters, are they? Little gremlins. Hey, Bob. Good to see you, Bob. Bob's feeling good, too. Got to feel good, Bob, about the market's opportunity to accumulate before the big breakout. Don't forget Richard Hart's post. I'm going to read that possibly on Monday. Maybe I'll do that. I'll try to remember all the things I'm supposed to do on Monday. But Richard Hart had this post a couple of weeks back, very bullish one, and maybe we need to remind people of that post because that was a very good one there. I might pull that back up for Monday just to back up some of the things we've been talking about today. What else there? Andrea's in house there, Pulse Bitcoin miner. Excellent work. Thanks, appreciate that, Andre. Yeah, haven't looked at Pulse Bitcoin for a little while. Need to probably check that. Haven't talked about that as well. Sandy says, thank you. You're most welcome. And Trev says, you're a machine. Well done from the DR. There says Trev. Hey, Trev, appreciate that. Yeah, we're trying to keep it up, folks, because I'm excited. We know it's going to play out at some stage. So accumulation zone is still in play, and we're almost up to the year. The 50 weeks is only 3 days away. Yeah, that 50 weeks to 52 weeks for the 1 year. That's going to be an interesting period for Pulsechain ahead of us. It is counting down pretty closely there. All right, let's see it. I'm going to finish up today, 15 minutes on the live stream, not too bad. And let's jump into stuff like this. We have got some more project launches coming in for May, so we'll be talking about those when they come up. And of course, like I say, the next one, it's not on Pulsechain, it's on Ethereum, but NXD is launching in the DX system on this Sunday. So that's something that people can check out. And of course, Runes Protocol is brand new early. So if you want some mad gains, potentially, it's still early there. Not financial advice, but man, I'm excited about it. Looking pretty good so far. Is the Runes Protocol on Bitcoin. All right, and don't forget, subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, see you in the Discord. Links in the video description to join up. And of course, we're having a strategy club session on tomorrow. So if you want to join up the strategy club, that is $35 a month. We're going to be covering a lot of Pulse projects on multi-chain. If you just want to join up for Pulsechain and Hex updates in the Discord, that's $5 a month. So join up today and support the community there. All right, take care, everybody. Enjoy the Magic Carpet ride. Take care. Bye for now. Fun times ahead of us the next 2.5 weeks, in my opinion. It's going to be really cool. Enjoy yourself. Bye for now.
In theory, if someone were a billionaire and they had like all this money, why wouldn't they just buy more of the thing they liked instead of dumping the thing they liked? Like if Bezos bought shares in Amazon, would you be pissed off? If Apple does a stock buyback and they buy more of their own shares in their company back from the public, which is a way to turn earnings into yield for the shareholders, do you get mad and yell at Apple? And so we had to come up with a word for this fan fiction fantasy, which is the opposite of a rug pull, called a magic carpet ride. And so if you're worried about risk of a rug pull, what weighted value have you given the risk of a magic carpet ride? And it's just hilarious to me.
It's fun to watch Hex pumping up the charts. It's left behind all kinds of broken hearts who didn't buy the dip, who didn't DCA. And now that we're on a rip, it's hard to look away. Now I'm not the one to hand out free advice, but as for me, I wouldn't dare think twice about buying a bag, since we're still somewhat down. This rocket ship's about to break the speed of sound. You know these wheels are starting to roll. Best to sit back and just enjoy the show, 'cause we're about to ride that train into the heart of Hexaco. I tip my hat to everyone who minds. You're getting paid out while you're killing time. It makes room for a nice vacation to the beach, perhaps a celebration now that you are rich. Ha ha! Ignore the haters who all called you crazy. You studied hard while they were being lazy. Now you're packing bags, about to take a ride up on that rocket ship, mooned up and starry-eyed. I feel these wheels are starting to roll. Best to sit back and just enjoy the show, 'cause we're about to ride that train into the heart of Hexaco. Now that we're summer bound and the sun is bright. I see that it's not round, but rather has 6 sides. It's a work of art that's written into code, designed by Richard Hart to make our bags explode. You know these wheels are starting to roll. Best to sit back and just enjoy the show, 'cause we're about to ride that train into the heart of Hexaco. Yeah, we're about to ride that train into the heart of Hexaco.